And welcome back, everybody. I need to unmute the very sexy Panky. And how you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. I read through some Reddit comments. I'm going to try and move away from my microphone a little bit. It's a headset, so I've got to bend things a bit. 1 minute.
Alright, so he's moving away from his microphone. We are into game number 2. This time around, I Want Cookie are in the first pick, first ban position, so they get the somewhat preferential blue squad side. Over on the flip, it is, of course, going to be Moscow 5. First champion banned out is going to be Rengar. So we're going to see how the rest of these picks and bans go for the teams and the champions. But Rengar is definitely the number one preferred ban out of pretty much every game we ever see these days. And I just managed to sit on my toe with my chair. So that is a whole lot of fun.
Nice.
Welcome back, Panky. So
I'm back. Hopefully I should be a bit better, and hopefully Curse should stay a bit quieter in the background. So if they get yelly, I can apologise and hit the mute button. But yes, they've been warned. I'll have to backhand them if they get too loud.
Well, let's have a look at the rest of the bans so far. Rengar and Lee Sin so far banned for I Want Cookie. Moscow 5, Moscow 5 once again banning out Jax. They don't want to see Jax, nor do they want to pick him, it appears.
Yeah, makes sense. He's been a very, very popular pick for a while now. Angish, it's a bit of a joke, but tells the lane to Jax.
Yep.
Since then, it's been Jax. So yeah, he's a very strong champion. He's worthy of a ban, and Extinct is going to get slapped.
As you can hear in the background, Curse getting a little bit excited during the ARAMs. You can't blame them. Panky, you guys still sitting in the offices there over at Spandau?
We are downstairs from the Interlol offices at Spandau.
Oh, no, that's not too bad. The last two bans, Oriana and Zinzao, then Maokai as well. So Moscow 5 actually removing Zin from the pool. Afraid I Want Cookie will be locking him in with a potential first pick.
I want to try and comment on it, but there's a little bit of a delay, as you can see. So you can see Rengar, Lee Sin and Jax, but I don't know. First pick, there wasn't anyone in that last game which I really think we will definitely see again, because of the way these teams go. They both have a very versatile mix of champions. Will I Want Cookie try their Elise and Chaos strategy again? No, I don't think so. I don't think it had that late game enough. They couldn't get the win in early because of the way Moscow 5 play and how safe Moscow 5 play in all their lanes at that point. So I think we'll see a slightly different strategy from them. Maybe something globally orientated. That seems to work quite well against Moscow 5. Or well, maybe something else even more crazy. Maybe we'll get a Zed mixed in there. Wow,
that would be awesome to watch. I really enjoy playing Zed. I love the ninja champions, and he's a lot of fun to play. I was going to point out, after all the picks and bans, we see once again, I Want Cookie, they've locked in Ezreal, and then you can't see it just yet on the stream, but Shen and Diana locked in for Moscow 5. Well, not locked in for Darren, he's still hovering over it, but potentially giving Darren and Alexich the same champions they had in the previous game.
Don't fix what ain't broke. Can't really argue with that. And I mean, you can't change up your entire lineup. They could change one or two champions, I suppose, but they're getting loud again.
Yeah, and in actual fact, it gets swapped out at the very, very last second. They decide to lock in Nunu instead of Shen. So, very slow, methodical, calculated picks from Moscow 5. Took a lot of time to decide who they were going to lock in there and who they were going to take. And you know, you can see they're thinking about this. They're not just going, look, let's replicate the same team that we had previously. Yeah,
I mean, Alexich Diana, she's great, and I think Diana at the moment, I know Extinct agreed with me, is one of the strongest and most underrated AP mids in the game. And I know for a fact Maluno is counting the days till the Season 3 items and the Mastery change and things come in to hope to the Lord she's viable in the jungle again. Like, when she was hinted at, when she was not quite released, but just before she was released, he was looking at all these abilities, eyeing her up, and thinking, yes, she's going to be amazing in the jungle. But unfortunately, just AP junglers as a whole are a little bit too weak at the moment. So, yeah, I know he's looking forward to a possible rebirth.
Well, I'm very, very excited about all these preseason changes once they actually start getting implemented, especially the HUD. I'm a bit split as to whether I like the straighter lines, but nevertheless, I'm looking forward to coming in. And I need to just get a bit excited about the picks. Shushay has locked in Lux. Alright, so he's going to be, Lux is locked in. We have an Ezreal and a Lux on the same team. We don't know if that's going to be Lux anywhere. There's so many options. On the flip side, we see an Olaf and an Amumu. So Diana, Amumu, Nunu, and Olaf for Moscow 5. So a couple, again, slightly, champions we see often, but it's the first time I've seen Moscow 5 running an Amumu, Olaf, Nunu combination in recent weeks and months.
That is an amazing combination, and I cannot wait to see if they can pull it off. Just Olaf is just going to be running all over the place, wrecking faces with the axes here and undertows. Sorry, axes are undertows. Axes here, lightning bolts there. Let's see whether I Want Cookie can do anything against it. I mean, one quick luck snare. Okay, he's going to Ragnarok out of it, but it's going to slow him down slightly if he hasn't already popped it. And if she can get a nice pick onto someone, maybe not Diana, she can be a bit too tanky. That last pick for Moscow 5, whoever it turns out to be, if she gets picked off by Lux, that could be instant death and immediate 4v5.
It's going to be cool how it actually plays out, but we got the final team compositions now for both squads. I'm going to take a quick run through. Young Buck on Renekton up top. He's going to be facing off against what appears to be Darren and Cogmore right now, but we know that's going to be swapping. So it'll be probably against Olaf up in the top lane. In the jungle, it's going to be Skarner versus Amumu. In our mid lanes, it's going to be Lux versus Diana, and then bottom, Ezreal, Janna versus what appears to be a Nunu Cogmore combo, and we know how good Genja is on Cog and how good Gosu Pepper is on Nunu. I mean, it's effectively how they built their fame and built their recognition in the esports world.
Very much so. I'm just waiting for this little logo in my friends list to switch to in-game so I can jump in and watch,
3 seconds.
Watch the bands from my point of view. But what are we looking at for level 1? Quick shot. What kind of comps are there?
Well, the thing about level 1 is I would definitely say that I Want Cookie have got a slightly stronger composition. You've got the Light Binding from Lux that's going to hold 2 people in place. You've got the Howling Gale from Janna if she decides to put a point into that, so that's going to play into their favor, and the potential of the stun from Renekton. So I feel like they've got more in terms of the CC. You do, of course, have a Bandage Toss, the Ice Blast, and the Void Ooze if Cog decides to go that way. So there's possibilities there, but I feel like I Want Cookie have got the slightly stronger composition in terms of the low-level engagements. The game 1, we've seen Moscow 5 going very aggressive, placing a ward, trying to get a kill onto Movert, but it just didn't work out for them. So maybe we'll see the same again, but they don't have that guaranteed stun this time around.
Yeah, and as chat is very excitedly pointing out, we have Double Jungle coming on from Moscow 5. Gosu Pepper has a smite, as does Diamond Prox. We're going to see very aggressive counter jungling coming out of Nunu, wherever he may be, whether he's going to roam or whether he's going to stick to the bottom half of the map. We'll wait and see. It's going to cause all kind of issues for Amazing on Skarner, which is a great jungler for Moscow have to do this again. Just shutting him down, keeping him below 6 for as long as possible, really hinders his gank potential. And, well, when you've got Young Buck playing what is arguably his best champion, Young Buck's Renekton and his Vladimir are the 2 he is best known for, take away as much jungle support as you can.
Yeah, exactly. If you lock him down, slow him down, and remove him from the game, the thing that's nice about that as well is we know how aggressive Moscow 5 like to play, especially Gosu Pepper. He's renowned for how deep he likes to play. If they can get in there and steal an early red buff, the first or the second spawn on that red buff, donate that over to Cogmore and to Genja, it's going to give him that additional strength that he needs at the lower level of the game, where Ezreal's going to have somewhat of an advantage over Cog until he picks up some items and becomes able to duel. Another thing that we need to point out, you've got Cleanse on Ezreal, Ignite on Janna, so that bottom lane is going to be quite aggressive, and you have a Teleport on Darian's Olaf. So, we're going to expect some global presence. He doesn't have Shen Stand United this time, but he's decided to pick up the the summoner spell for the mobility.
So, 45 seconds left on our delay. Moscow 5 are certainly playing with a very, very interesting lineup, as we say. Double jungle, they've got that Amumi, they've got that Nunu, they've got the Olaf mixed in there again. That's a strong combo on its own. Darian is running teleport. Are we going to see him playing a very similar strategy to the way he was playing Shen in the last game? Okay, he doesn't have that shield to come and join the fight and leap in and save, in this case will be Genja, but he is going to be able to teleport to a creep or to a ward that he has placed down, and he's going to immediately make it 4v5 should I Want Cookie be sending anyone to stop his split push. And if they don't send anyone to stop his split push, he's just going to take inhibs and eventually take the base. So they have to send someone at some point. I want to see how this shapes up and how they handle it.
And you know what's also going to play into Moscow 5's favor here is if you think about the buff control that they're going to have over Dragon or the objective control they're going to have over Dragon and Baron. Consume and 2 smites. That's 3 lots of true damage that they're going to have to secure, you know, Drakes and secure Baron if they decide to go for an early one. Especially, I just need to maximize this, especially when you think about how much damage Kog'Maw's going to be able to put down, as well as Olaf. You know, 2 champions that are very good at doing Baron. Add Blood Boil, add all the true damage, and I really like what Moscow 5 have done in theory. And we'll see whether or not it's going to work out. I also cannot wait to see Shushe's Lux. Those pew pew lasers, one of my favorite champions and abilities in the game.
Yeah, me too. I absolutely love Lux. Been playing her since she was released, and still one of my favourite champions, even through the times she was a little bit less than viable. People in chat, again, calling she's support because she's got exhaust. She's not. She just doesn't want Alex Ich to be diving in on top of her and bursting her down. You land that exhaust when Alex dives under your turret, you can then in turn land yourself a snare while he's slowed under your turret and put your own burst down onto Alex. So that's going to really negate some of the damage that he can do and certainly stave off his aggression.
And also add to the fact that exhaust is going to work against Olaf, it's going to work against Kog'Maw as well. So, you know, those carries that are going to be getting in there, yeah, the Ignite's going to help you pick up kills, but it's going to work beneficially, especially against a mid to late game Kog'Maw, where he's just going to be melting your faces with that Bioarcane Barrage.
Exactly. We do see a quick invade in actual fact from Moscow 5 just to plant a ward at that blue buff. They have the double smite, they have Nunu hiding in Tribush. Is he going to stay there and steal it? He's going to take Consume, I suspect. He's going to take Ignite, and he will take that away very, very quickly, while poor little...
No problem. Curse having a little bit of fun there in the background. Diamond Prox may be running into a little bit of trouble here. We'll see if he's going to go in alone. There's a couple of pings, and you can see in terms of vision, they don't know it's there. So I expect a Crescent Strike maybe. We'll see if this is going to come out. Alex Ich is going. He is alone. Take a look at that. First blood. Fail flashes into the wall, and Skarner manages to pick that one up. Alex Ich panicking just a little bit. And that was what I was afraid of. We do see both teams technically invaded, but unfortunately, first blood getting picked up for I Want Cookie. And it goes to Skarner as well, a champion that they were hoping to stall, a champion they were hoping to slow down. And are we going to see a lane swap? Because I can see a Nunu Cog near the top lane for Moscow 5.
Very, very possible. They're staying up there. Looks like Kog'Maw's going to help Amumu with his red buff. Now they know he cannot take that blue. That's going to be stolen. Although Olaf is taking this wolf camp. I mean, it's not uncommon for us to see Olaf try and take the wolves, then take the blue, and try and sit in the bottom lane 2v1, spamming axes. But is he going to be able to steal this blue? No, he spots Youngbuck with that axe as he realizes Amazing is in there stealing it. Youngbuck zoning Darien away will ultimately do the job. Amazing clearing the camp out entirely, as they do see a complete Youngbuck, complete switch on both teams. Youngbuck is heading down bottom as well, so it was sniffed out by the guys over on I Want Cookie, and they are ready to fight against it as that pause comes straight into play.
Yes, and I have just been told my overlay is backwards, so let me just fix that and make sure it is correct. So there we go. I Want Cookie over on the left-hand side. Moscow 5 are in fact 1-0 up. Thank you guys for letting me know I had that score wrong. But yeah, first blood to Skarner. Pause has already been immediately done, so that's definitely going to help him out. I expect to see probably a very early Philo Stone coming out from him, and yeah, you got to question to yourself how much slower is he going to be, you know, considering he's got that really strong early advantage.
We do see Go Superb successfully in there with the help of Diamond Prox, stealing that blue buff. So Diamond's going to get that blue anyway, despite the original steals from Amazing, but he is up here again himself, and with a quick Bioarcane Barrage, Genja is there enough to just ward off I Want Cookie and send them away again. So, massive play by Moscow 5, keeping their jungler in line, keeping him on the right track and not falling too far behind, despite the invade, despite the steals, despite the first blood already been handing to his opposition. So, Darien has teleported back down into the bottom lane, getting a lot of damage down onto Youngbuck already, spamming out those axes. But the beauty of Renekton, as soon as he can get that Cull the Meek, he can dash through Darien, Cull the Meek onto all the creeps, pick them all up again, get a lot of health back, and wow, dash away.
Yeah, so much damage at the moment everywhere. Up in the top lane, you got Poke, you got Ghost of Pepper and Genja in a very awkward position. They're, you know, really positioning themselves quite strangely. They managed to pull Janna and Ezreal down a little bit, but didn't manage to pick up any kills. This time around, take a look at the vision here from I Want Cookie. This is significantly better than what we've seen from game number 1. And are they going to fall victim to this gank? Diamond Prox is coming in. Banish shot does manage to land. Red buff is ticking away. Ignite has actually gone down onto Diamond. Bio-Arcane Barrage ticking onto Movert, but it's not going to be enough to pick up the kill. 3 seconds on Banish Toss, and if Diamond can land it, it may be enough time to pick up that kill. Unfortunately, though, it looks like Ice Fantasy is going to get away with his life. Diamond Prox, his recall gets interrupted. Now he's hanging around. Maybe he's going to take that personally and try set up a kill. Another interruption. Very, very nice prediction there from Ice Fantasy. They do not have vision into that bush, but he managed to land 2 good Mystic shots. And I believe Panky's busy telling off the curse team.
Yes, so hopefully that's sorted. While that was all going on, we did see a gank in natural fact from Skarner attempted in the bottom lane, forces Darren to use his Ghost and in fact base as well, so he's spent a little time out of lane and is now making his way back down there to deal with the Young Buck once more. But Lux has been spending her time stealing Wraith camps away from Alex Hitch and is now coming around behind him with Amazing coming down the lane, but Suche deciding not going to be able to land that snare. So they do just back on out there as Alex goes to clear out that Wraith camp, which is now missing 1 extra blue creep. So the other Diamond, he does that one. Amazing, making his way down towards the bottom lane again. Does walk straight through a ward though for Darren, so he knows exactly what's going on. He's quite happy to just sit here under the edge of his turret range with Youngbuck and Amazing close by. But they're going to come out anyway. Youngbuck going to dash across, land the stun down on the toe. The Ignite taken, Coldermeek is there. Youngbuck did have the turret, and immediately resets it back though. Amazing picks up the kill with the help of an Ignite.
And such a good gank there. Brilliant control of the tower aggro. A very nice flash, the stun, everything worked into their favor. So 0-0-2 for Renekton, a 2-0-0 Skarner. He's going back with 1,375 gold to spend. That's definitely going to play into his favor. Light Binding in the middle lands. Loosen Singularity applied a little passive from Lux, and she carries on landing those auto attacks. But neither champion in the mid lane with enough ability power to really do too much right now. And Skarner, Heart of Gold, as well as the Regrowth Pendant at 5.5 minutes, he's going to be very happy with how this game has started.
So, if we look at how this game has started, as you say, in comparison to the last one, it is I Want Cookie in the lead by 1.2k gold so far. They did take an early 1,000 gold lead with that triple kill for their squad in the bottom lane, 2 of them being straight onto Ezreal on that last game. So, can they hold on to it this time? That's the key thing we're looking for. Haven't really seen too much from Gosu's Smite yet. We saw that first invade, of course, helping Diamond Prox pick up that blue. But with the next blue buff respawning somewhere in the next 2 minutes, there should be some more jungle there for him to take advantage of. Will we see some kind of aggression, some kind of play from Moscow 5 using that Consume and Smite? We'll wait and see. They've not got too many wards on the map at the moment. They can see this blue buff, and they will do by the time it's respawned, and they can also see down this little river buff in the bottom lane. And using that board I just spoke about, they have spotted Amazing here, waiting on Darian. So Alex is roaming around, slightly going to walk through an I Want Cookie ward. Should be enough to watch Amazing back away. Yeah, it's not going to amount to anything. Unfortunately, no Impale, no Flash, or not wanting to burn the Flash. He's not really going to be able to jump in there. I'm interested about this team composition. They've got 2-0 up. They've got this small early lead, but Diana scales so well. Olaf scales so well. Cogmore scales so well. You compare them to the direct counterparts. Eventually, Lux does start to fall off. Yes, her ultimate is on incredibly short cooldown, so you can use it often, and that definitely plays into their favor. But it's not going to offer the same that Diana does. Now a tower dive in the bottom lane, but we do have a level 6 Darien. Ragnarok has been used, cannot be disabled, gets past the stuns, gets through all of the CC, is going to get caught after his Ragnarok ends, and a very, very nice save by Diamond Prox prevents another kill onto Darien. And you can see I Want Cookie, their strategy is definitely prevent Olaf getting farm. That could have been so many more kills for Moscow 5 if Diamond Prox had just been level 6. Unfortunately for them, he had not quite hit that point yet. And, well, very lucky for I Want Cookie, so to speak. That would have been painful if all 3 of them have fallen down to Darien. It's already a very tight matchup between himself and Youngbuck down here now, despite the deaths that Darien already has to his name. But with those kills going towards him, Youngbuck would have certainly been in trouble. Goes Pepper going straight out with a slow onto Ice Fantasy, as that little bit of harass from Lux is starting to force this lane into a very much even trade, just push for push. CS for CS.
The thing that's interesting here is take a look at what Ice Fantasy's done this time around. He's opted to go straight for the Sheen. So an 806 HP Ezreal to 1090 HP, Cogmore. If they do decide to get into an engagement or do decide to get into a fight, that 250 HP less is definitely going to start to show differences. Youngbuck and Darien trading some damage in the bottom lane, and the engagement exactly what you're talking about. Slice and dice in, reduce the armor, land cull the meek, and then slice and dice out to safety. But Renekton just a slightly superior sustain at the moment. I'm busy hearing that apparently Fnatic have won 2-0 against Alternate, and they will be the first team in the grand final to play the winner of this matchup.
Okay, and actual fact, your scoreboard still says this is 1-1.
I will fix that.
1-0. We do see Diamondprox actually on the run from Amazing, who flash ults in, does get the snare down with the help of Sushi. Diamond going very, very low, but he flashed away from the Lucian area. The laser there, though, is enough to finish him off. But Genja has managed to take down Ice Fantasy with the help of Ghost Pepper in that top lane. They did dive him under the turret while the rest of his team was trying to defend the blue buff. So a 1-for-1 trade, jungler for AD carry. There's no oracles on Diamondprox. He was still level 5, though, so it does delay that ultimate even longer. And when you're playing someone like a Mumu, the ultimate is oh so important.
Yeah, it makes such a big difference. As soon as you can get that curse down, Curse of the Sad Mummy, you put that down, you allow Diana the time to put her damage and her combo down, as well as Olaf. And just as we talk about Diana and Olaf, let's see if Youngbuck can get out of this one. It is going to be a 2 versus 1, but the thing is, Darien is very far away. Crescent Strike lands. He's going to follow it up with Luna. Decides not to, because unfortunately Darien was just a little bit too far away. He couldn't get there in time. And very, very smart from Alexish, decides to save the damage in the cooldown and immediately fall back.
So, what do we say? There's another Oracle's in a Mumu's... Sorry, not another, but there's an Oracle's in a Mumu's inventory. Is he feeling up for that? Ice Fantasy's been exhausted in the top lane, but immediately cleanses it because they are diving onto Genja. Mover though has to back away because he cannot take that tower for any longer. The minions now got it. Mover comes back in for a heal. Genja's trying to finish him off as best he can. The Arcane Barrage doing as much damage as possible. Trying to land the ultimate is not quite there, but now Ice Fantasy taking the tower for a little too long. The slow goes out. Genja heals. Does trade 1-for-1 with Ice Fantasy, but now he's taking a Mover for the passive, and he gets it with the help of Diamondprox's bandage toss from Tribush.
What a beautiful double kill. That is one of the most amazing doubles I think I've seen. Managing to pick it up with a little bit of damage and that Akithian surprise going kaboom. Interestingly, look at this. Cogmore opting to go triple Doran's Blades. There's so much talk and discussion. I remember reading all sorts of numbers and facts and figures about whether you go double, whether you go triple. But with now that double kill, 811 gold, probably Zeal into Phantom Dancer next?
Possible.
Although with the Nunu Blood Boil, maybe saves up for some damage.
I don't know what to think, because you normally, regardless, especially when you're 3-1, would not go 3 Doran's Blades on Cogmore. Like 2, yes, everyone's seen 2 and Zeal, 2 and Phantom Dancer, 2 into some damage perhaps, especially as you say with the Blood Boil, just go straight BF Sword, but 3 Doran's Blades, you normally do that if you're really struggling or a long way behind. So I don't know what to predict with Genja. He's definitely trying something new.
Now we'll see how it plays out. 5 members of Moscow 5 onto the Dragon. The Dragon resets and goes to full health. And this has bought 4 members of I Want Cookie time to get into place. The thing is, True Shot Barrage has been used. Yeah, Lucent Singularity is down. That's going to give them all the vision that they need. Now with the Consume, take a look at this. Curse of the Sad Mummy. There comes the final spark. Laser, it's a bit messy. Members of teams all over the place. Impale goes down before Skarner gets blown up himself. But unfortunately, 4 members of I Want Cookie, just a little, not enough, especially without their AD carry. Darien is going to be able to get away with his life. Nobody's focused Genja just yet. Finally, somebody jumps onto him. They stun him, but it just gives Genja yet another kill. Now Janna's in and amongst the mess, flashes over the wall. Shusha is going to be forced to flash as well. Does he have it available? He does. Finally forced to flash. Dragon goes to Moscow 5 and they give away 2 kills. I Want Cookie were always going to be 4 versus 5 there. They didn't use the laser early enough. I've got to question the decision making.
It's a beautifully executed fight from Moscow 5. Everyone making it out on just the smallest possible health they could. Admittedly, as you say, it was 4v5. Ice Fantasy is up in the top lane, just used his ult to join in. But still, to get everyone out on that tiny little bit of health, they knew exactly what was going on, where the summoner spells were. And now Genja is going to have to go and try and defend this tier 2 turret in the top lane. He has sold the ward he was carrying for a Zeal, and he's going 3 Doran's Blade and Zeal. Maybe he's carrying on with that standard build, just with that extra Doran's, a little bit more health, more lifesteal, more damage, just a smidgen more, but We'll find out whether it's worth the gold very soon. Alexic has got that needlessly large rod and should be ready to complete his very quick Zonya's Hourglass after our next couple of fights, and that's going to change this game again. Just like we said before, when that Diana lands a Crescent Strike, leaps in amongst your team, moonfalls everyone into a clump, which against a Mumu is terrifying. You try and blow what you can out to try and burst it down, and she just Zonyas it. Suddenly you're left in a very precarious position. There's a lot of CC raining down on your head, and Cogmore has spent the whole time sitting there, Bio-Arcane Barrage just chunking away at your important champions.
Yeah, so much damage, so much ability, and the team play factor of it. If you combo that, you know, the Moonfall, Curse of the Sad Mummy, and Absolute Zero, there's very little reply. Yeah, fair enough, you've got a cleanse on Ezreal, but that's so much CC. If he doesn't get that cleanse immediately and jump away, you know, Olaf's just going to chase him down, etc. Have a look at our items. Renekton, 10 CS advantage, 012 Double Dorans, and the Giant's Belt. We see Lux working towards that Athene's Unholy Grail, 112 CS mirrored by Alexic, but as you pointed out, need to see Large Rod. And then Cogmore just slowly a little bit behind in terms of CS, but with 4 kills in the bank, he's already starting to get to that very strong mid-game phase.
Youngbuck actually taking a little bit more damage there than he might have originally counted on from that turret in the bottom lane and Darien combined. He does go back into her color. Make the Ragnarok comes out from Darien though, lands another bit of damage. The true damage goes out, the axes are going down, more true damage. Youngbuck's on the run trying to get what CS he can. Calder to try and get more health. Does slice and dice through Darien though, trying to escape back to his turret, and he might have just pulled it off.
What a brilliant play, committing to the fight, seeing, you know what, let's see if I can do this, let's see if I can win. And after realizing, hey, you know, I'm actually not going to be able to win this duel, let me just take my time, think about it. He goes in, slice and dice, Cull the Meek, Ignite is down, the second slice. Is the Ignite going to do it? Darien finally goes down on the second to last tick of it. Really nicely done. Acer Amazing tries to get in range for an Impale. A beautiful Monsoon from Movement throws Genja into Amazing's hands, and Amazing just says, thank you very much. Get over here, I will take that one. And that was such a great play from Janna. That was just beautiful.
Amazing actually dragged Genja out of Ezreal's ultimate, dragged him to safety and made that damage miss. But there were so many of them there, it didn't make any difference. They got the kill anyway. Sushi now has to be careful going to steal those rates that aren't actually there, because Alexic is around the far side at his rates with a Mumu. So that support could result in a dead Sushi if he's not careful on his way back into that mid lane. And Alexic does go in with the Lunar Rush, has landed the Crescent Strike for the reset. There's the exhaust goes down, but that flash ult comes in from Diamond Prox. There's the bandage toss, and he picks up the kill under Sushi's turret. As in the top lane, Gosu Pepper's trying to defend this turret as best he can. Has got Darien coming around behind him after teleport to a ward, but Gosu's left it too late. Does get the slowdown after his death, but Ice Fantasy with no mana ultimately pulls away from Mover to try and save his support. Tries to get the turret and dies to go Genja as he returns.
Yeah, trading 1 for 1, but you know what? I think Ezreal will be happy with that. Anybody can stand up and just sneeze on that tower to take it down at any time that they want. He's going to be able to, he's going to be in a position where he can pick up that Trinity Force pretty soon. Or no, he's going to get at least the next components of it, a Phage, or Zeal, something similar. But not too bad overall. That kill in the bottom lane from Youngbuck was so good. Like you said at the beginning, Youngbuck, very famous for his Renekton play, and he knows exactly how much damage he can deal, he knows what he can get away with, and he knew Ragnarok was not available for Olaf, so just dove straight in there, Ignite, Cull the Meek, and what's his Q called? Cull the Meek, Ruthless Predator, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
And very nice kill.
7-7, still an 800 gold lead for I Want Cookie, so they've been ahead for a while, they've stayed ahead for a while, but it's not that big of a gap. It's very close, and there are 2 turrets in their favour, which Moscow 5 haven't got yet. So if Moscow 5 start to take those global objectives, then they're going to go back ahead and have that gold lead. We do have the dragon respawning shortly. We should see everyone get ready for that. But ultimately, again, if we look down this champions, Moscow 5 just have it if we go past the 35-40 minute mark. And for that reason, I Want Cookie need to make something of the early game, this mid game. This is the point where they're strong. They need to use it, gain a big enough advantage that they can straight up end the game, or at least hold on there for 1 or 2 more fights in the late game. The way this keeps going, Moscow 5 are just going to outscale them.
And the flip side is, well, it's quite interesting you said it, because think about Tales of the Lane and the Eclipsia rosters that they were running. You know, they had Renekton featuring quite often, and they had teams that you'd sort of go, look, this team should not be able to win the mid to late game skirmishes, but somehow Eclipsia kept making it happen and kept making it work. Even in the previous game, you know, with that super strong late game team that Moscow 5 had, I Want Cookie almost snuck it on the back of one good team fight. So we'll see how this one plays out. Once again, I Want Cookie a little bit split up around this dragon area. They did manage to pick the Drake up. Move it, forced to flash over the wall, as Genja has that Phantom Dancer in hand already. Actually, no, I'm lying to you. It was a BF sword that he picked up. It wasn't finishing the Phantom Dancer. And almost mirroring the build. So you got a Zeal BF versus a Sheen BF from Ezreal.
I'd be very surprised, however, if Genja went Trinity Force, as Alex H and Diamond Rock kill an invisible blue buff. I don't know if it was invisible on your screen, but it was for me. It is now banished, as Amazing is using his oracles to kill a ward that's on the floor in the middle of that mid lane. So, we shall see, but it was a free dragon for I Want Cookie. They were there before Moscow 5. Moscow 5 wanted to fight, wanted to contest for it, but they were just a little bit too late. Alex was still in base as it was killed, and it did extend that lead for I Want Cookie.
Yes, a small lead at this moment in time. 20 minutes in, only the 2 towers down. But it is 2 towers that I Want Cookie have picked up. So, in theory, they have the map control. But look at this farm that Genja's picking up. He was struggling a little bit early when he was sitting on the top lane. Is now finally starting to get himself into, back into this with the help of all of those kills. And another free tower for I Want Cookie. They're going to keep this pressure on. Ezreal has now just thrown out that True Shot Barrage. Luckily, that creep wave that was there is now finished. But 5 members in the Light Binding's going to hold Olaf in place. He doesn't need to burn Ragnarok because he's not under any pressure right now. But 5 members of I Want Cookie, and eventually 5 members of Moscow 5 now that Genja's going to be joining the party.
So, as you see the siege coming on from I Want Cookie onto this tier 2 turret in the mid lane. Do you have Genja now rejoining the ranks of Moscow 5? Darian, though, doesn't have his teleport, cannot go anywhere other than stick with his team for now. If that was up, then maybe he could have tried to roam around a bit, split push one of the top of the bottom lanes and get Moscow 5 their own turret, get them a little bit of global gold on the table. It is not the case. So we do see Ice Fancy going in to grab himself that blue buff, or in fact pass it off to Lux, but in doing so, it has opened up this mid turret to Moscow 5. They are here in full force and will pick their first turret of the game with the help of Darian's massive axes.
Yeah, really nice little counterplay. They've lost their tower, they have replied with 1. Very smart play from Youngbuck as well. He's shoving that bottom lane, so now that the bottom lane is going to be pushing in his favor, it allows him time to rejoin his team. The top lane's pushing in I Want Cookie's favor as well, so now's the time that they need to start pushing out. Group up, push together as a team, and see if you can force another tower fight, or force, maybe it's a bit too early for a Baron fight, but try pick up one of the neutral buffs or something similar. You can see Moscow 5 immediately replying. Genja, he's sent down to that bottom lane and said, right, go pick up that CS, sorts it out, try and farm yourself into this, and immediately, as we pointed out, I Want Cookie throwing out those ultimates, final spark going down the middle lane, clearing out all of those creeps, but unfortunately with no creep line to back them up, you just got this Mexican standoff of, well, what you gonna do, punk?
Very much so, but now the creeps are arriving, and I Want Cookie are here again. So, Moscow 5 do finally grip back up just as the creeps do get in there, and their wave clear is almost enough. But a quick snare goes down on from Suche, but Young Bucks initiated onto by Darren Proc. The ult comes out from the moon, but he immediately has to back away because he is very squishy. Yet to see anyone fall just yet. Young Buck, though, does have to dash out with the slice and dice. Go Superba flashes away. Alex H goes in, but he gets dragged back by Amazing. Amazing has to flash through with the Ignite taken down. Young Buck has returned into the fight. Darren's going to get lasered! Sniped by Sushi right at the back of the fight. And Moscow 5 immediately fall back to their tier 2 turret, but with a full force, I Want Cookie flashing in for Suche, landing a Light Binding and a Lucent Singularity. Moscow 5 are not out of the woods yet.
No, they are not. This fight is still going on. Beautiful play from I Want Cookie. They coordinated their targets well. They used their abilities very well together. And a nice moonfall from Alexic. It unfortunately just wasn't enough to secure the kills that they needed. The Impale was thrown out, but immediately had to be flashed away because Amazing was in risk of going down. But you got to question Moscow 5. They committed to a fight on Youngbuck. Youngbuck with a Hex Drinker and a Sunfire Cape. Ooh, Shushe is committing to this. The laser goes down. The proc bounces 50 HP. One more bit of damage. Is it going to be enough? The Light Binding does pick it up, and Shushe with a beautiful sequence of kills. Lux, the champion who you'd think maybe not scaling quite as hard, has hit her peak moment. These next couple of minutes is when Lux is really going to shine. Has enough gold to pick up a needlessly large rod, and that damage just going to get even higher. How short is her cooldown on that ultimate right now?
Let's see. She's 14, so it's not quite max rank. She does have how much cooldown reduction? 39% running that blue buff. and it's going to be very, very short. Something around the 36-second mark. Let's count it. 36 seconds exactly.
Yeah, it's absolutely immense. You think about the previous engagement. They used the final spark to clear the creep wave, then used it in the team fight, and then used it again a little bit later on. It's insane how short that cooldown is. And right now, Shusha is making it work. So, yeah, well played to I1 Cookie, and they're in the driving seat right now. They're setting the pace, they're controlling, and they're holding Moscow 5. And if they continue to do this, maybe they can even out the scores 1-1.
Very much so. I can't even feel that a lot of it to do with how squishy this Amumu is. There we see Ragnar being put by Darien to escape the 3-man gank in the bottom lane, but a quick laser will clear the wave and keep that push going. But Diamond Prox just Moby boosts Aegis the Legion and then 2 GP10s. That's not very tanky for someone that's going balls deep right into the enemy squad. Darien managed to steal that blue buff with an axe as it was trying to be taken by I1 Cookie, and does result in Moscow 5 grouping back up and retreating towards their mid lane. Darien has teleport now though, so will we see him counter push in the top or the bottom lane, try and grab that turret Moscow 5 so desperately need to get back into this global gold game? After this after this Dragon fight. Dragon goes free to I1 Cookie. Darien comes in with an axe, landed the slow young, but pops his ultra trying to keep everyone down. Great ult from Ghost of Pepper, locking him in the Dragon Pit, but I1 Cookie doing so much damage, and Moscow 5 have to back away from this. Diamond Prox needs to save his oracles, trying to head down towards the bottom turret. Amazing does drag Alex H back in towards the Dragon Pit. Rice Fantasy doing so much damage. Laser hits no one, but Alex H has fallen anyway. Genja's now on the way out as Youngbuck does finish off Diamond. That's the end of the oracles. Great snare from Sushi, catches Genja, and when Ice Fantasy gets in range with the red buff, that's too much. Genja managed to finish off Amazing, so it's an oracles for an oracles, but he fools himself, and using that passive, it just tickles Ice Fantasy a little bit, and allows I1 Cookie to start pushing on the bottom and the mid lanes.
Yeah, great fight and great engagement once again. You got to wonder how crucial was missing that bandage toss from Diamond Prox in the Dragon Pit. He threw it out and it just skimmed the tail of I1 Cookie. If he'd been pulled forward, maybe would have got him in range just that second earlier to put the Curse of the Sad Mummy down. On the flip side as well, you had Genja at the top of the fight. He was focusing Shushe down, and yes, he forced Shushe out of the fight, but Shushe has a mind. He's got great range on those abilities. The laser is so powerful. He just hung all the way back and said, alright, well, you've left your team alone. You're the AD carry, and you didn't back up the people you need to be backing up. Darien is chasing on this bottom lane. Fisher Strikes is up. He's got Ragnarok as well, so he's not going to be able to be stunned. And he does pick up at least one reply kill with those reckless swings. But 12-9, I1 Cookie have got to be very happy with where they're sitting right now.
Oh, Darien, that blue buff, plenty of true damage because of it. And here's what I was waiting for. Double Smite and Consume means Moscow 5, with the help of Genja's Bio Arcane Barrage, can rush out of Baron. It's down to 8,500 health right now. Alex is here, but so is I1 Cookie. The laser comes across, does some damage to Baron. Ezreal goes down, does some more damage to Moscow 5. They're all going very low from this. The Baron's down to 4,000 health. We've got to Consume for a lot. We've got Double Smite for about 1,500 damage, but Amazing's coming in. 1,800 health in the Baron. Amazing's closing in. He's going to drag Alex back, and now the Baron does fall to Moscow 5, but Amazing is down. Darien gets that kill. Ghost Pepper is credited with the Baron kill. There's a good snare coming out from Suche, catches Darien and Ghost Pepper. Good light binding for the slow as well. Genja trying to get in range of Ice Fantasy, can't quite land that. But Moscow 5 had picked up the Baron. They did kill Amazing, and now they're backing away to safety to spend their gold and to get their health back.
Yeah, really great play there from Moscow 5. They controlled it well. They knew what they could get away with. Oh, look at that in the middle. Alex is just deleting Ezreal. Gets caught by that Zephyr as well as the Howling Gale. Moveout is pushing forward. Got to be very careful though, because the burst is huge. Alex does go down to a couple of auto attacks and that Sunfire Cape damage from Youngbuck. But again, trading 1 for 1. And Alex really wanted to hold on to that Baron buff. The regen, the mana, the ability power, it all would have played into his favor. And now it's gone. Now it's not there. So it's only Olaf, Genja, Diamond, and of course Gosu that it's sitting on. Have a look at the 2 chain vests. One in the hands of Alexic, one in the hands of Darien. So maybe 2 more Guardian Angels coming from, the team that made it the cool kit to wear.
Yeah, there is, of course, Chain Vest and Null Magic Mentors in there too, as you say. So they're both components of it. How much gold are they sitting on? 902. It's 2,000 gold on Darien. He could afford it right now, actually. He just hasn't left the lane since the Baron. He's been shoving that out from the top lane. should be getting that Guardian Angel shortly, I suspect. But with a 4,000 gold lead still in favour of I Want Cookie, Moscow 5 have not got this in the bag yet. We did mention earlier how they have the late game comp. We're approaching 30 minutes. That's not quite as late as they needed to be. Lux is still bursting through champions. Alex Ich, we saw there, fell very, very easily to the combo of her and Renekton. Genja is by no means the strongest champion in this game either. He has an Infinity Edge complete with this Zeal, but this is the first time we're about to see him with that. Can he really make the impact we need? Moscow 5 did lose one at Dragon, but they managed to rush out a Baron. What are you going to do, I Want Cookie? Can you end this game somewhere in the next 5-10 minutes? After that, I have a feeling they may be a little bit too late.
It's interesting you point out the items as well. Take a look at Ice Fantasy's Ezreal. You know, he opened with Sheen. That was his first item. He went there before he went Doran's Blades. Then followed into BF Sword Bloodthirster. And now he's sitting on an Agility Cloak. So, you know, maybe going Phantom Dancer before Trinity Force. So it's a slightly non-traditional build that we see out of Ezreal's. He's farming pretty well. You know, he's keeping up with in terms of, you know, kills and assists and whatnot, albeit, you know, swapping them. But yeah, a little bit of split decision making on his items than what we're used to seeing.
Very much so. And Darien has based. And Darien has bought his next item. And Darien has gone old school. At Mogs Olaf. Genja forced to flash away though. Sushi comes in to try and steal the blue buff. Sushi gets melted as he's caught out of position by Darien. He comes in with another axe, catching the slow onto both Mover and Ice Fantasy, but the Ragnarok still going. Mover is getting ripped apart by Darien as Youngbuck is being chased by Alex Ich. He goes in with another Lunar Rush, can't quite finish him off though, as the Slice and Dice gets him out of there, but now Amazing is sacrificing himself for the team. Preemptive flash from Gosu, sits him right in front of Amazing as he flashes over the wall. Perma slow means he's not getting out of there, and there's the ult from Diamond Prox as he catches a great long-range bandit toss onto Ice Fantasy. Darien doesn't have the Ragnarok left to go under this turret now, but Mover is here. Bandit shots onto a creep, but now Ghosty's coming around the backside of the turret. He's tanking it. Does get a slowdown onto Ice Fantasy and Mover. Darien's going to tank the turret for a little while, lands another great axe, closing in onto this tier 3 turret in the top lane, the in-here turret. Darien is still tanking so much damage. Now Genja comes across, and with one last burst of true damage, the kill goes to Darien. He needs to get out from this turret though as Youngbuck comes on in. Youngbuck now has 4 members of Moscow 5 chasing onto him though, and he has to back out. They are going to leave with Alex Ich tanking the turret using the shield he gets from that... I've forgotten what it's called. Hello, Pale Cascade, thank you very much. And they do get this tier 2 turret in the mid lane and do show what their strength has just become.
And what a great bandage toss there, just above the red buff, managing to catch it onto Ezreal as he was trying to get through the bush there. So a beautiful, beautiful passage of play. There was a 4,000 gold difference with the Baron, with the farm that they've picked up, the tower, and now Dragon. They're actually going to take the gold advantage. And all of that on the back of catching one champion. On the back of catching Shushay out, holding him in place, slowing him down, and just blowing him up. They lose all of those kills. They lose the towers, they lose the Dragon. And you know, just the entire sense, the entire feeling of the game is now just swung completely in favor of Moscow 5. I Want Cookie, they were setting the pace, they were in the driver's seat, but now they've got to reply to this massive, massive play that Moscow 5 put together.
They are going to start doing that by taking this tier 2 turret in the bottom lane. Another laser from Sushi just cleaning the minions out. That's all I've seemed to see him use it for at the moment. But when it's on a cooldown, which has just got shorter because he's 17 now, 32 second cooldown to be exact, and it will get even shorter again when he picks up a blue buff finally. Puts it down closer towards the 24-25 second mark. He's just going to be able to spam that out all over the place. So... what are we up to? We've got another Baron respawning shortly. Both teams know when it is. They were there when it died. Moscow 5, of course, rushing it out without the knowledge of I Want Cookie. They did come in a little bit later and watched it die, despite Amazing's best attempt to steal. But Moscow 5 are ready for it. They do have Darien with them here, despite the fact he has a teleport. So if the standoff lasts too long, he could split off to one of the sides and force someone on I Want Cookie to come and deal with him. We'll see exactly how they shape it up. Youngbuck has got himself a Guardian Angel, as of which neither of these members of Moscow 5 had done themselves yet. Sorry, I lied. Alex Ich has, yes.
I was actually just going to point that out. Darien is going against the Moscow 5 meta, and it looks like he's going towards a Randian's Omen before a Guardian Angel. I don't know what we're seeing, but this could be a first.
Could be a first. I think it might be somewhere in their contract they have to build at least one Guardian Angel in every series they play. So
it's also interesting as well when we look at how Alexic is playing. In the previous game, he rushed his Zhonya's Hourglass first, and this time around has opted to go for the Death Cap and then the GA. So slightly different to what we've seen in the previous matchup. And we do see now Moscow 5 chasing. They don't manage to catch the undertow from Darren, unfortunately. Chevaliers Reverie is out as well as that Blood Boil. You're going to see who's going to commit onto who here. But you got to feel that if I Want Cookie are caught, if I Want Cookie eats Curse of the Sad Mummy, they lose the team fight. If they can mitigate the effect that Amumu is going to have on those team fights by blowing somebody up quickly, jumping on them first, or just avoiding him altogether, ideally, you've got to feel that I Want Cookie could probably win the team fight.
Very much so. And as I said before, if Sushi can just get that Bind Singularity ultimate combo down onto someone like Genja, that's a lot of damage he's outputting right now. Let's check his actual ability power. What's he sitting on? 472, sorry, as he buys. And he's got a potion to drink, so it's going to go up when he decides to do that. If he can burst through Genja, that's a huge portion of Moscow 5 out of the picture in a fraction of a second. So that alone can turn this game. And
Genja's only sitting on 51 magic resist. He's only got 51 MR. You add that Void Staff into there, and it's just going to mitigate all of that. Darian does get jumped onto, though. Ragnarok is up, and we see an immediate disengage from I Want Cookie. Shusha was not really in a position to pick that fight, but they did burn Olaf's ultimate, so at least for the next minute and a half, they have somewhat of an advantage over that berserking Viking.
Very much so, and that Ragnarok is such a great part of Moscow 5's fight, as we said before. He can just pop that and run straight to the back, straight onto Ice Fantasy, straight onto Sushi. Now that he doesn't have it, he can be kited, he can be CC'd, he can be controlled, and that's what Moscow 5 can't do. Now that that's been used, they have to wait, let him get it back off cooldown, because their team fight is just crumbling around them with every little ultimate, every little flash, every little ability they use that is not in a fight.
And Genja currently sitting on 1,800 gold in the bank. Look at this engagement here from Diamond Prox. He's going to be chasing forward. If he can get a good bandage toss, then maybe he can turn that one around. Loosen Singularity goes down. That's slow. It's not necessarily the most powerful. Surely as Reverie gets popped, they're going to get in here and see if they can steal away this blue buff. And it does actually go to Moscow 5. I think it was Diamond Prox that picked that one up. Yep, he did get it. I think it was with the Smite as well. But nonetheless, moving that, using their abilities, using the Shirley's and chasing together, Moscow 5 are sticking together as a team, and they're sticking together well. And now we're going to see how this plays out. Janna, Flash! Impale actually gets mitigated by the Flash. Now all of a sudden, Amazing's the one on the back foot. He's burned his Flash, he's burned his ultimate. Youngbuck has caught Darren. Darren still does not have Ragnarok, but it will be back shortly. The longer this fight goes, the closer we are to getting that Berserking Viking back. There is no Impale for Orskana just yet. The cooldown wasn't blown, luckily, so he needs to close the gap with the Chevalier's Reverie and that crystalline exoskeleton. But look at the damage from Genja onto Shushe. One auto attack and his living artillery, and Shushe loses 250, 350 hit points.
We did see right at the start of that fight, Sushi fired off his laser and it went straight across Genja and it took half his health away, and straight from the bat, that alone meant he couldn't get close. He couldn't come in to try and do any damage, and these very, very tanky members of I Want Cookie were just able to bully Moscow 5 back and away. So that was very well played by them, but unfortunately they weren't managed to push home any advantage or any objectives from it. The Smite is now back up from Diamond Prox as Baron has respawned. Ez is going to ult top lane to try and turn that push around. Does take out a lot of the creep, but not quite enough. Just going to slow it down slightly, but Moscow 5 going to back away. Genja goes back to his fountain as Darren has a Randuin's complete, and he finishes his Guardian Angel.
Yeah, so 2 GAs on the side of Moscow 5. Let's see how much gold is still in the bank, because I think Youngbuck had a decent chunk sitting on 1,000. Amazing sitting on 1,000. You've also got Ice Fantasy sitting on 1,200 himself. Genja, he just picked up that GA. He's going to start working towards, maybe a Bloodthirst or something similar, but luckily the Zeke's Herald is going to be helping out for some lifesteal. And, all across the board, look at that, 7 wards in the back packet of Janna, and 5 wards for Gosu Pepper with his 52 CS. Gosu not afraid to farm, it appears, on the Moscow 5 lineup.
No, Gosu, I don't think I ever see any other support hit that number of CS, unless they're maybe playing as Zyra, in which case it's not always intentional. So, yeah, certainly a unique thing for Gosu Pepper. But He puts it to good use. He's got himself that Zeke's Herald help out Genja. They are now chasing Mover. You see him bandage toss across to the blue buff. They're looking to steal that away, hopefully for Alex Ich. And as there's no one close, stole it. Sujet got it. Sujet got the blue buff with his laser at max range. They're still chasing Mover though, as he is running from creeps in this top lane. Now Genja has found him. Doesn't miss the slow. He's going to get knocked up and keep the chase on, but he's got bandage tossing it from a Mumu coming around one side. Alex is coming to the other, but I Want Cookie have done a great job here of sandwiching in Moscow 5 and saving Mover.
Yeah, really nicely done. The passive from Janna is just so powerful. Just gives that additional movement speed and be able to get away. And then, of course, Howling Gale on Zephyr. It's really great disengage abilities. Now you just get the feeling that the Baron fight, the Baron bait battle is the next thing that's going to take place. Oracles is up, so I'm going to clear out this Moscow 5 ward. We'll see what vision they have. This is what I Want Cookie are playing with, and this is the vision that Moscow 5 have. They can still see a couple of members of I Want Cookie around. We're going to go back to full caster vision. And all of a sudden, Moscow 5 are the team members that are split up, 3-2-2-3 split, as it were. We'll see if anything's going to commit of it, but neither team really confident enough to either use Baron to bait or to commit to a big engagement right now. They're both just waiting for that perfect engagement opportunity.
To see Youngbuck taking a little bit of damage from Darren as he goes a little bit far out from his team in that mid lane. Darren there clears that mid wave with an axe, and Alex Ich helps over the Crescent Strike. We do get a Lux Laser. Look at the damage that does to Alex Ich. Absolutely destroys him. He's going to get back to the fountain and try and hit it back up before the next mini wave comes in for I Want Cookie. They don't seem to mind so much though. They're going to go straight across to the Baron. And
that damage was from two abilities, a Lucent Singularity and the Final Spark, and that chunked down Alex Ich to less than 2/3 of his hit points. So we're going to have keep a close eye on the HP of the Baron, down to 7,500 HP. Consume and double smite for Moscow 5. Is it going to be enough to steal? Darren is looking this 1,800. Renekton manages to pick it up, so it actually wasn't even the smite from Amazing that got the final tick. Now Darren, Ragnarok is ticking away. It looks like they're trying to focus Youngbuck, which is who they don't need to be doing it onto. A beautiful Monsoon from Janna, throws Diamond Procs away. He flash forwards, uses his Curse of the Sad Mummy. It's been a 1-for-1 trade. Olaf for Skana. Where is Genja? Diamond Procs. Alex just jumps all the way backwards onto Diamond Procs just as he's about to go down and out of the fight. Guardian Angel has been popped for Diana. Can she get away with the life? The laser deletes Alex Ich, but it's enough damage there to pop the GA for Youngbuck. Somehow, Gosu Pepper is still alive. That minion creep damage, is it going to be enough to pick up the kill? No, it's not. Nor is the last auto attack or the last mystic shot, but a 2-for-1 trade. And Baron's I Want Cookie. All of a sudden, they're in the driving seat. Flash from Shusha. He misses the light binding. 273 crit damage. Howling Gale knocks Genja up. Guardian Angel is now proc. This battle is still going on. A little bit early. The laser plus one more auto attack from Youngbuck is going to be enough to secure the kill onto Genja. This is going to be the first inhibitor of the game, potentially two, because the bottom lane has creeps on it. And all of a sudden, I Want Cookie. We've hit late game. It doesn't matter. They are deciding who's going to win this match.
Yeah, they're playing that phenomenally. That coordination, just getting through the back. And to be honest, Kog'Maw didn't really seem to do too much damage to them now. They are very tanky. They've all got a lot of armor. And, well, there's no Last Whisper on that Kog'Maw, so the damage he's doing was only onto the people like Youngbuck. They did see him pop his GA because he was right at the front. He couldn't get to the squishy members of I Want Cooking. By the time he could, his tanks were dead. He had no protection, so he just had to leave. And yeah, we need to get a Last Whisper up soon. He needs to be able to rip through Youngbuck faster than Ice Fantasy can rip through a Mumu. And right now, that's not happening.
Now, where is Shusha going to spend his money? 2,700 gold in the bank. Are we going to see a Guardian Angel for his 5th item? And it is. Guardian Angel outright for his 5th item to add to all of the ability power damage that he still has. He still has the option to pick up yet another item the longer this game goes. He spent all of his cash, so he's only sitting on 180 right now. But there's still maybe Deathfire Grasp or hell, maybe even a Morella's Evil Tome or something for additional cooldown reduction if that's what he wants to go for. There's so many options available, and the damage that Final Spark is dealing, Moscow 5 simply cannot deal with it right now.
It's so much, and it's so often. These fights, are, because of how tanky everyone is, are being drawn out and across the map and this and that. We're getting 2 or 3 off per fight. And when they're doing, I'm going to read the number now, of course you've got magic resist to factor in, but when they're doing nearly 900 damage, getting 3 900 damage bursts off in a fight onto multiple targets is something you cannot afford to let Lux do. And now that she's got a GA, how do you stop that?
Yeah, it's so difficult. Look at that. Light Binding comes out. Doesn't get followed up with a laser, though, because unfortunately for this time, it is on cooldown. Genja dropped to less than half. Darian's committed to the fight. Randy and Zoman has been popped. Where's Curse of the Sand Mummy? That does manage to lock up 3 members, but Genja forced out of the fight by the giant crocodile. And now Youngbuck is the man that's in trouble. He's dropped low. He doesn't have a GA. First member of the team to fall down is going to be Darian. Arcane shift forward from Ice Fantasy. He picks up a double. If he could have got closer to Diamond Procs, that could potentially have been a triple. Amazing has a GA available, but doesn't need it. Compliments of that Eye of the Storm, and all of a sudden Moscow 5 with the late game team find themselves with 3 inhibitors down. They only have 2 towers to their name, and right now I Want Cookie are looking for blood. Double super minions are spawning in every single lane. They're going to pick up the first Nexus tower. Now they're going to turn their attention to the second. Look at how many creeps there are. Diamond Prox is committed. He's doing the best that he can to slow them down, but game number 2 goes to the Cookie Monsters. I Want Cookie forcing us to a decider match.
Very impressive performance indeed. They kept up the whole way through. They never let their heads drop down. They played that perfectly. I mean, even without having to kill people, just that laser onto Alex, giving them that Baron right at the end there. Just, they knew how low he'd be. They knew he had to go back to base. They knew he wasn't alone on their Genja had actually gone to shot with him. They went straight down. They rushed out the Baron. They got it low enough before Moscow 5 arrived. They killed it, and then they fought perfectly straight off the back. Absolutely pristine execution, deserved the win, and I am so ready for game 3.
Yeah, definitely, and it definitely comes down to, you know, team play. They had great, there was no single individual carry the entire team performance. They had good engagements, they had good decision making, and I Want Cookie definitely deserved the win there. So we're going to go to another advert break while we get game number 3 up and running, and when Panky and I return, the winner of this game will face Fnatic in the grand final to be declared the winner of the RaidCall Dominance Invitational and take home that $1,000 prize.